everyone, I'm Lily with SGI Property Management. If you're a landlord, one of the more frustrating situations you'll face is when a tenant tries to break their lease early. Whether it's due to a job change, financial issues, or just wanting to move out early, lease breaks happen. But how you handle it can mean the difference between a smooth resolution and a costly mess. In this video, I'll walk you through the steps you should take if your tenant wants to break their lease agreement. If you find this information helpful, hit the like button and subscribe for more landlord tips and property management advice. Step 1 is to review the lease agreement. Start by pulling up the signed lease. A good lease should have clear language outlining what happens if the tenant leaves early. Look for clauses that mention early termination fees, required notice periods, subletting policies, and exceptions for breaking the lease, such as military deployment. If your lease doesn't say anything about early termination, that doesn't mean the tenant can just walk away. You still have rights as a landlord, but your options might be more limited. Step 2 is to understand the legal justification for breaking a lease. Sometimes a tenant has a legal right to break the lease without penalty. Common legal reasons include active military duty under the Service Member Civil Relief Act, unsafe or uninhabitable living conditions, domestic violence situations, and landlord harassment or major lease violations. Check your local news to see what applies in your area. If a tenant has a legally valid reason to leave, you may not be able to enforce early termination penalties. Step 3 is to open a dialogue with the tenant. Once you've reviewed the lease and understand their reasoning, talk to the tenant. The goal here is to find out their situation and see if a mutual solution is possible. You should ask questions like, why do they want to leave early? When are they planning to move out? And are they willing to help find a replacement tenant? Keeping the conversation respectful and professional will go a long way in resolving the issue without unnecessary conflict. Situations like these are a perfect example of why having a strong lease and a clear process in place is so important. At SGI Property Management, we help landlords avoid these kinds of headaches by drafting solid lease agreements, screening tenants carefully, and stepping in to handle lease violations when they happen. If you're tired of managing lease issues on your own, we'd be happy to help. Even if you're just looking for advice or want someone to review your lease terms, feel free to get in touch with us. Step 4 is to decide how you want to handle a lease break. Once you understand the situation and your lease terms, you'll have a few options. If your lease includes a fee or requires them to pay rent until a replacement is found, you can enforce that. You might agree to let the tenant go early if they help cover advertising costs, allow showings, or assist in finding a new renter. In many places, landlords must make a reasonable effort to re-rent the property. If you do that and still lose money, the tenant may be responsible for the difference. A good tip is to always document your efforts to re-rent and any communication you have with the tenant. That way, you're protected if things escalate. Step 5 is to protect yourself moving forward. Every lease break is a learning opportunity. Once the situation is resolved, take a few steps to strengthen your process. You should consider reviewing and updating your lease agreement, adding an early termination clause if you don't already have one, screening tenants more carefully to reduce risks, and keeping documentation for your records and legal protection. Tenants breaking leases is never ideal, but it doesn't have to be a disaster. With a solid lease, open communication, and a plan in place, you can handle the situation professionally and protect your rental income. If managing these kinds of issues feels overwhelming, a property management company can take the stress off your plate and make sure everything is handled the right way. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe for more tips on rental property management and landlord success. Thank you for watching.